Coach McKenna here with our Great Day to be Irish show. Hey, special day, special people, and that's what Notre Dame's about. Having all kind of special things going on. Just getting done a workout done on a Monday morning, and I've been after Angelina to get on the show and have an opportunity to do it, so we're going to take it right now. Angelina Romero, number one, welcome to the show. It's very special because she's going into her third year of wrestling at Notre Dame, right? And been wrestling for 5 years. Wrestling for females isn't a common thing. So really wanted to get her on the show. She's a great character person, does everything that we do here. And Angelina, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
If you could just tell everybody a little bit about who you are. You know, where do you live? You know, where'd you go to elementary school? How'd you get to Notre Dame? Things like that. Okay. It's all yours, hon.
Well, my mom and dad were in the military, so I moved around a lot, and I really got into wrestling in middle school because my brother did it while he was in middle school because I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu since I was 8 years old. And so it was kind of just an easy transition to go from jiu-jitsu to wrestling because it's basically kind of the same dynamics. And after I got into it, my first year I fractured my foot, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're not going to get back in it." But then I just kept going with it because I loved it so much. And I've lived everywhere, and I've done it basically everywhere that I've lived. I've competed mainly with guys, and I've also gotten the opportunity to compete with females, which is a different experience because they're actually built like you are. They're not so strong up top, but stronger hips and stronger legs. Because it really is different when you wrestle a male who's more upper body than you are.
That's neat. Now you talk about your parents are in the military. What branch?
They're in the Army.
Okay, good choice. Love that choice. Are they still active?
My mom is. She is, I believe, I'm not sure how long she is, but she has 5 more years left. She's a first sergeant, and they were both in food service. My dad retired a few years ago.
Okay, and she has Fort Dix right now and everything. Good. That's where my son is. That's really neat. Name some of the places you've been in your travels of moving around and everything.
I started off, I was born in California, and then I moved to Colorado around age 2. Then I moved to Washington State. From Washington State, it was to Hawaii, and then after Hawaii, it was back to Washington State, and then from Washington State over to here.
Okay, your favorite place so far?
Hawaii.
Has
to be Hawaii.
I was going to say, it's pretty nice there. I'd imagine it was hard to leave and everything.
It was.
Now, how old were you when you were in Hawaii?
I was from 4th to 6th grade, so from 12 to around 14.
That's great and everything. Now, how'd you end up at Notre Dame?
We were looking for schools that, 1, offered wrestling, and 2, took my credits, because I did a lot of AP and honors courses freshman year. And where I live in Bordentown, they said that they wouldn't take me, and I would have to retake all those courses.
Wow.
And the wrestling coach there said that I couldn't wrestle over there because he didn't want a female on the team. And then when we looked at Notre Dame, they said they would take my credits. And then we emailed the coach, EJ, and we asked, would I be able to wrestle? And he said, yes, you can. So that was kind of just the nail in the coffin that said, okay.
Being you brought up his name now, let's talk a little about your relationship with Coach Nemeth. He's a former player of mine. I think he's a great asset to Notre Dame. But kind of explain your relationship with Coach Nemeth.
So it's very good relationship, I would say. He's very supportive of like everything I want to do. Going into women's regions, the first ever in New Jersey history, he was very, okay, what do you want to work on? Let's do your game. And he wasn't like, this is what you're going to do and this is how you're going to do it. It was, what do you want to do? What's your game plan? What's your strategy? He was very accommodating to what I wanted to do. And I think it was a really big surprise to me because most coaches that I've worked with are like, okay, this is the game plan that I'm going to set out for you. And he was very, we're going to do what you want to do, and I'm just going to help you get to the steps to where you want to be. It's
kind of neat because, you know, I've always called Coach kind of like a free spirit, and that's what he is, but that was good for you and everything. One of the things I want to talk about is that we're talking about all the positives about you wrestling. Mm-hmm. Tell me about the negatives.
There are a lot of negatives, especially when wrestling against guys. Like it happened this year. I wrestle at 120, but sometimes I get bumped up to 126, staying at 120 in my weight. And I don't remember what school it was, but the man that I was wrestling was very, very frustrated that he had to wrestle me, and so he suplexed me the very first chance that he got, which is basically like wrapping around my waist and dumping me backwards basically on my head. And I got really upset, so I kind of just sprawled out of it and got him on his, like, got to his back. And it happens a lot where guys are just like, you really shouldn't be doing this, or like, you can't do this, or they like say, oh, you're not strong enough, or like, some people I feel like on my team too, like, they won't say it out loud, but I feel like they're just like, oh, it was easy for you to win states because it was just like an easier path. When I feel like that wasn't true, because I still had to wrestle about 6 girls to get to states, and from states I had to wrestle 3 girls, and like, it was like so much like adrenaline and like emotion and hard work behind it.
Okay, now let's hit the key thing. How about other females? Do you get any comments from them about you wrestling?
I get a lot that say I'm like really strong. Like, I think it was in June I did a tournament, and the first female I went against, I like did my work. I'm like, I dubbed her down and I was going for her wrist, and afterwards she was like, man, I've never seen like that strength. And I think it kind of made me feel a little bit proud, because I've been working with you and working with the football players trying to like get there. And then a lot of the other females, they're just really supportive. There are some that you get that are like, oh, like, I'm gonna get you next time, kind of like being like vindictive. But most of them that I've worked with or like have wrestled against are very like friendly and like, oh my goodness, supportive towards you.
It's funny because, you talk about working with me, but you join a very elite group of female athletes who have worked with the morning lift with football and survived and actually thrived in here. My daughter being one of them years ago. We've had Dina Cifelli, Bridget Cantonese, and I think there were 1 or 2 more, and now you. But I mean, it's only a handful of females who can come in here and compete with the guys and work hard with them, and just take that pace of early morning lifting and everything. And I got to congratulate you. I mean, that's really neat. And like I said, you joined an elite group. I declared the other day about that from now on, I think our theory this year in the Notre Dame weight room is just be you. And I can't think of anybody who just wants to talk better than you about just being you. You decide you want to be a wrestler. You do your own thing. You work hard in school. Your strength of character and everything. I think it's a great thing. Talk a little bit about Notre Dame up in the classrooms, things you're involved in, or what you like to do up there besides coming down here on the mats.
I really like science and English, which is kind of like a weird mix, because normally it's either English and history or like science and math, but I really like science and English. I'm involved in ASL Club, Spanish Club, Operation Smile, and then I was involved in, can't remember the name of it, but it was like the coding thing club, Cyber Patriots, that's
okay.
What it was, Cyber Patriots. I am in mainly all honors and AP classes this year, and also going into my senior year, and it's a really fun environment to be in, because going from a public school my whole entire life to going straight to private school, I thought it was a huge culture shock, especially with the people, because I thought everyone would be like really snobby and like, oh my goodness, what are you doing here? But everyone was like really welcoming, and there's like, everyone like wants you to be a part of their group. It's really like a loving environment.
That's neat. So I guess your experience at Notre Dame has been a positive one. So I guess the next question is hard to ask, guys. Do you regret coming to Notre Dame?
No, not at all. I think it's been amazing for me to go here, and I feel like if I would have gone to any other school, I would not have reached my potential this quickly as I have, and like done the things that I have done if I did not come here. Okay,
as a student who has worked hard here, done all the right things, went out of her comfort zone to become a wrestler, what advice would you give an incoming freshman coming here about how they could flourish at Notre Dame?
I would say just go for it and take opportunities. If something comes along that you really want to do but you're scared, I would say just go for it. Because the worst thing that's going to happen is you fail, and if you fail, then you know what you have to do for next time to succeed. That's like what I always say. If you get knocked down 3 times, stand up 4. It's just, you have to keep going with it. You don't want to have life hold you back because you're afraid to do something.
That's great. That's really, really good. Now, I know everybody sets goals. You've been working your tail off this summer, getting ready for the season, and we're going to continue to keep working hard down here. What are your goals for this year for wrestling?
My goals is, I have one goal set at a time. So my first goal is to first make weight my very first day, because normally the past 2 years I've not been good. The first match that we always have, I always miss weight. So I just want to make weight for the first time. Second is to, when I go to regions, hopefully to get first, because I was second this year, and I really want to work hard so I can be first. And the next thing, the final goal is to be first in the state for 118 for my weight class.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, I promise you, when you get to states this year, I'm going to be there to watch you win the whole thing. Because I just can't believe anybody else having the work ethic that this young lady has. Unbelievable. Not only the days she's in with us, she talks about having to make weight. I'll look back there. She's back on the treadmill going like crazy and everything to keep everything going. And I couldn't be proud of her. I am a sucker for people who have work ethic, that are willing to commit to something, and she has done that. She is what Notre Dame is about. You can get out of your comfort zone. You can do different things. And you know what? You'll be accepted for it. Great day to be Irish. Thanks for listening. Take care.